All right, I'm here with Mr. Dewey, and this is Dewey's roadmap to success. Now, Dewey is a happy, happy boy, but he wasn't socialized a lot as a puppy, so he is reactive to dogs on walks. So I showed the guardians at the end of our session how to do a U-turn. And make sure after you do your turn that you only start hold the treat in front of his nose when you're like one step away from doing the turn. Say turn, offer the treat, do your turn, take one step after the turn, then release it. Try to hold the treat in your hand kind of like this, so you're not twisting your hand back and forth. And just practice on every walk, every like couple minutes, do one U-turn, walk 12 paces, do another U-turn, and then go back to the original direction. That way, if you do run into a dog that, or there's a dog around and you know he's going to be reactive to, you just turn around and walk away from it, and he's used to it because you just do it all the time. Now, if I'm going to do something called shaping right now. This is what I would do for dogs. You might want to go to a dog park. So when he looks at the camera, I'm going to mark yes. Shaping is not telling. It's kind of a little bit like celebrating. So I'm just waiting for yes, for him to do the thing that I want. So every time he looks at a dog, it's hard to see with your eyes. You got quite the haircut, buddy. Now sometimes if they're more interested in treating the iris of the dog, it might be too high a value. This is his kibble. You are just, I think he's overly tired. So basically what you do is just have him sit. If he can't sit, he's saying I'm too close. If he won't take the treat, he's saying I'm too aroused. So find a distance where he can actually look at the other dogs walking from the parking lot into the dog park. Every time he looks at him, say yes, give him that treat. And after a while, he's going to start looking at the dog and looking away at you, anticipating the treat. What are we doing? We're teaching him, when you look at another dog, look away and get a reward for looking away. And the reason I can look away is you have managed to have enough distance between him and the other dog that he doesn't feel the need to make it go away. Now, if he is barking or growling or lunging, don't ever tell him no. The guardians here don't. But instead, what we're going to do is just turn and walk him away. Now, the sooner you can do that, the better. Dogs have, like I say, 10 energy levels. 0 is asleep, 10 is as crazy as he gets. If I let him get all the way to like level 7, 8, or 9, he's so aroused it takes him a long time to sit. Yes, to get down to level 1. So we want to kind of interrupt as soon as we can get an indication. Now you see his mouth right now is open, and but when dogs are got to focus, it's like if he closes his mouth, gets stiff and still, those are big warnings to the other dogs. So that's when you want to get him, make sure he's moving away. Now sometimes if I do that, I do something called a find it away. Let's say there's grass right here. Find it, yes. Find it, yes. Find it, yes. I just moved him like 12 feet away. So I usually drop 1 here and say yes every time he looks up the treat, then 2 feet, then 3 feet, then 5 feet. Now I've moved him like 10 or 12 feet off the grass or off the sidewalk. And he's looking for the treat, and then I might do a scatter and throw a handful. While the other dog's walking by, you've increased the distance to a distance where he feels comfortable, and he's looking, sniffing the ground. Sniffing the ground is what we call displacement behavior. It's a way of telling the other dogs, hey man, I'm cool, you should be cool too. And so the other dog, if he's sniffing the ground, he's not targeting the other dog might walk on by, and he's practicing me around dogs. At the dog park, when you're doing this, you might have to ebb and flow. So I wouldn't be sitting like I am now. So if a dog walks up and it's an older dog or well-behaved dog with low energy, you can probably get a little closer. If a dog with a lot of energy or barking, you might need to move further away. So your job is to manage the situation. When you're doing that exercise, I usually like to keep score. So every time he looks at the dog and marks, yeah, you're not looking at the camera though. Every time he looks at the dog and you mark and give him a treat and he doesn't mark, that's a score for you. Every time he barks or grumbles, that's a score against you. Your goal should be to get a score of like 40, 50, 60 to 0. And what is he doing? He's practicing looking at dogs, not reacting because you've managed the distance, so he's practicing a calm behavior. Everything dogs do, they are practicing doing. So he is practicing doing some inappropriate things with his blanket, barking, jumping up, and those are the things that he is continuing to do because they get him attention. Now, we undo that with celebrating, but we'll talk about that. I guess let me talk about this in linear order. So we started off by basically going over loading the marker word. So we just say yes, give him a treat. So you're going to walk around the house. Now, by the time you guys see this, that should be done. So get this done by this weekend. Each one of you grab about 10 or 15 treats, walk around your place, say yes, give him a treat. Make sure you get the treat in his mouth within the maximum of 3 seconds, and he does not have to do anything. And make sure you say yes, not yes. And not yes, yes. And so I want him to know that this yes word works everywhere. We also went over hand targeting. Yes. And to use to help people practice their timing. but you can also use that when the visitors are coming. Practice that tonight. One of you sits over there, one of you sits over here. You can call him over. Now he's getting touched. He's touching his nose with their hand. Something else I forgot to go over in the video above, if dogs that jump up, one of the things I do is play the guess which hand game. So I have, kind of hide these. So what I do is I've got a treat in my left hand. This is my right hand, by the way. And so I present it, sit. Now, I normally don't ask a dog to sit if I'm worried about him jumping. When we are running track, we curl ourselves up into a running stance and we explode out of it. When he's doing that, he's just storing energy. So I usually ask dogs to lay down or to stand. And what I do is okay, stand. There's no treat there. Yes, and there's a treat in that hand. So when you come through the door, you have about 5 or 6 treats in your pocket. Even distance, and whichever hand he goes to first is what he chooses. He can't go to both. If he picks the hand with nothing in it, you just flip the hand over and show him there's nothing there. If he picks the hand that has something, you say yes, then you flip the hand over and he gets the treat. If you do this enough, when people come in the door, what is he doing? I'm going to go punch my nose to their hand as opposed to jumping up on them because I want to get the treats. If you guys do this every time you come in the door, after a while that becomes normal behavior. I'm pressing which hand? And your guests are like, what is your dog constantly licking in my hands? He's trying to get treats. That's all right, he's off camera. Well, you might bring it over. All right, so the hand targeting is designed to reposition dogs. It's also a way of consent. So if somebody goes like this and he turns his head to the side, he's saying, I'm not interested in that. And also you can use it as an alternative recall. But it's mostly reposition it and have him follow and track your hand with your hand is empty. We also went over the celebrate game. The celebrate game is rewarding a dog when it does voluntary behavior that you like. So he's gonna come right in front of the camera. That's okay. Hey, buddy. Oh, come here. Come here. Why don't you go get that one? Go get that one. There you go. All right. So he was about to do some funky business with a blanket. All right. So celebrating is the easiest way to train a dog. It's simply waiting for your dog to do something like coming to you without asking. Yes. And I usually reward with a pet versus I had a treat right there, but I didn't ask him to come. But coming to me is something that I like. So I'd like you guys to celebrate sits, comes, downs, dropping things, going to the dog bed. Same thing with other dogs. When you're on a walk, if he sees a dog and doesn't react to it, say yes and give him a treat. So when he shows you the behavior we want to mark and reward. A lot of times we're like, finally, you're not barking at dogs. Well, what's my motivation? I didn't bark at a dog and I got nothing. Now, it's not that he needs to get something, but we want to create a positive response. So if he does on a walk, have treats with you. Every time he looks at a dog, yes, and give him a treat. After a while, looking at dogs is a positive thing. All right, so celebrating, point at each other and say celebrate if your partner misses the opportunity to reward that. And try to get in the habit of doing that as much as you can. After a while, you don't even realize it. But this will increase his respect for you, help him practice basic obedience, increase his confidence, help him practice impulse control. Yes, it's really the gift that keeps on giving. Now, the other flip side of that is what I call the manners lesson. So when he comes up and nudges at you or barks at you, he's saying, get me some chicken nuggets, which isn't wrong to ask for, but saying, get me some chicken nuggets isn't very polite. So tell him, would you like to ask those chicken nuggets again? Sit. Ask him one time, he has 3 seconds. If he does, then you mark a reward. If he doesn't, we're just gonna blink at him. Nothing happens. After a while, he's like, why didn't I sit down? If I sat down, I'd be getting some pets and treats and attention. So these things work kind of collectively. So if I come to people, or go to the dog bed, yes, and I get a pet. If I nudge them or tell them I want attention, they tell me to sit or down. Don't practice shake or high five anymore. And if I sit her down, I get attention. If I don't, nothing happens. So after a while, he's going to start sitting in front of people to prepay for attention. When he does, make sure you say, celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Otherwise, he's going to stop doing those things. We also went over one of my favorite lessons, which is teaching dog consent. So remember, for dogs, starting on top of the head, they interpret it as domination. Cutoff signals for dogs include turning their head away, ducking, licking their lips, eyes bracing if you think they're gonna hurt you, refusing to look at you, giving you side eye, or refusing to come to you. Sometimes they'll also roll over and give you their belly. They're saying, please don't do whatever it is, and we do it anyways. So instead, if he likes being petted under his chin. So affirmation signals for dogs are nose going up, sleepy, squinty eyes, leaning on you, licking you, and if you're petting him, putting his paw on your arm. So if he does those things, he's saying, I like what you're doing. Please keep on doing it. If he turns away, he's saying no. Yes. And so try to be mindful of that for you guys, because you're going to notice there are going to be times where he's going to say no to you when you go to trim his nails or put on his harness or whatever it is. Anytime he doesn't like something, ask yourself, how can I make it easier? How can I break it into multiple steps and reward him for each individual step? He's a happy dog. And so that he wants to do the activity. We also went over conditioning him not to be so excited for the leash. A lot of us, we say, you want to go for a walk? You want to go for a walk? You want to go for a walk? Walk, 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 walk. We get our dogs all excited. We wonder why they can't listen. So what I had the guardian do, the leash is hanging right by the door. I had him walk to where it is. As soon as he walked in front, we turn and walk away. And this exercise is best done when you're not planning on taking him for a walk, so you take away all of your oomph. So once you can walk all the way to the door with him staying behind you, then you tell him to sit. Probably need to get an area rug in front of the fridge so he can sit there. If he sits, then you reach for the handle, pull back. Now, I can do what I did in the video above, or I can do the way I showed it to you. The way I showed you was strict desensitization. I usually don't do it that way. I usually say, reach for the handle, pull back, say yes, and give him a treat. So I'm rewarding the dog for each individual step. He did fine there, but he probably would have done better if we were giving him the treats. But eventually you're gonna reach for that leash, eventually pick up the leash, put it on him. And if he gets excited, you just stop at any point and go sit back down. And that's the beauty of it, you're watching TV. So if he gets excited, you just stop and go back to doing what you're doing. And after a while, he learns that just because you pick up the leash does not mean we're going out for a walk. Yes. I'm not going to pet him because I think it's going to causing him a little arousal. But normally, after you mark, always reward with a pet or a treat. But I want him to settle down. Eventually, you're messing with the handle and all the stuff that I showed you in the video above, messing with the door, and he just sits there waiting, and then you walk through the door and he follows you, practicing impulse control. Let me see. We also went over some creative forms of exercise. So throwing treats and having him find it is a great way to get him exercise. When you're out on a walk and there's some grass, they put those, they're right back here. So you can say, find it. Yes, when he licks it up. Find it. Yes, when he licks it up. What I had you do in here is something called cookie in the corner. And so basically we throw treats and eventually the dog goes over and starts using its nose. Nose work is a great way to drain dog energy. All dogs have an amazing nose, and if you teach him to use it, you can have a little scent lure and hide it in a cupboard behind your refrigerator somewhere, and he's got to go around his whole house sniffing. That drains a tremendous amount of energy. That's my thumb. We can also do other things like take him out for a sniff walk. When he's walking, if he wants to sniff, let him sniff. And sometimes if he's not sniffing, just stop in an area that looks good and just wait for him to start sniffing. And wait for him to kind of explore his environment before you start moving forward. Sit, yes. And after a while, he starts doing more sniffing, and now he's engaging in his environment. He's not looking for the boogie dog. And that helps him. Eventually, the dog might pass by and go, oh! Now, don't try not to get him spooked, because that'll cause him to be reactive. But the idea is for him just to practice being around things without being reactive. All right, so we also, other forms of exercise, you can get him a doggy backpack. I didn't mention this to you guys, but it looks like a harness, but it has pockets on the side. You can put bottles of water, bags of sand, or whatever it is. Now you're making the walk more efficient because he's carrying more weight. You can also exercise him before a walk. If you guys have some steps, I don't know if the steps are they solid or can you see between the steps?
No.
So go to the top of the steps, get a retractable leash, show him you have a treat, and say, find it, and throw it to the bottom of the landing. He runs down the stairs, licks it up, then ask him to come back up and give him another treat. Every down up, it's a doggy stairmaster. So this is something you can do really quick if you have a guest coming and getting him used to doing it, and then he comes in here, just make sure he has that 10 minutes of rest. I know, that was a cutoff signal. I reached for him, he backed up. He didn't want me to grab him, so I stopped interacting with him. I think he's tired at this point. Let me see, what else did I go? Get a Rundick snuffle mat, and feed him out of the snuffle mat. Now if he gets smart and he picks it up and shakes it out, put a dumbbell or something on top of it. But this makes feeding him like a short walk. He needs, I think, more exercise and more sleep. So if you guys can do that, that's an extra 2 walks that you get in without having, I would keep doing what you're doing, but adding that in there. Something else you might want to do is keep a journal. So write the date at the top, write the time and the amount of exercise. When he does this, write the time and how long he barked. Or anything that went on there, write down what time and what time you feed him. Then at the end of the day, give him a letter grade, A through F. And after you grade it, look at the time duration. How long between the walks? You know what? Every time we go longer than 4 hours between walks, that's when he has the barking thing, the humping thing, or whatever it is. So let's be proactive and get him more exercise more proactively. The box enrichment, getting a box that's half the length of his leg, and just rip the the flaps off and just toss a treat in there. When he looks it up, say yes, and get him used to it so he sticks his head in there fully. Then get a piece of paper, put a piece of kibble on it, crumple the paper. Put another piece of kibble, crumple the paper. So you get this wad of paper with about 5 or 10 pieces of kibble in it. And then I put it in the box. He pulls it out of the box and he unwraps it to get all the pieces of kibble. He's not eating the paper, he's eating the kibble. Eventually I take that and I stuff it in a toilet paper tube. One stuff, then I put a piece of kibble, and stuff another one, another piece of kibble. Usually I get 3 of them in there. Then I put that in the box. And then I put some loose kibble. And then I get some pieces of paper about that big and put those in there. Now he's got to root around in there to find the kibble. And then finally he finds the tube, pulls that out. He's got to pull pieces out. He's shredding things up. It's a great way to drain some energy and help him relax. I would see if you can go to a pet store tonight. This will be too late by the time you watch it. Get him a lick mat. Lick mats release oxytocin and serotonin and gives him something to do. I would try to go to a PetSmart or somewhere today and get one. Get one with suction cups, put it over there. Smear some peanut butter, cream cheese, frozen yogurt, something on it. He's sitting there licking that. Get him used to doing that here. Then when your special visitor come tomorrow, at any point, you can put that thing down, slide some peanut butter. He's going to lay over there and lick, 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 lick. He's preoccupied. He's not jumping up on your guests. You've given him something to do. Yes. All right. I'm trying to think what else. Letting him sniff on walks. Yeah. Does he like to play fetch or tug of war or anything like that?
Yeah.
Tug of war is a great way to drain some energy. Let's definitely not do that. Tug of war is a great way to drain energy if, yes, are we going to dance? Yes, you look like a Muppet. Yes, you are. You're very excitable. So playing tug of war is a great way to drain some energy from him. But if he touches you with his teeth, immediately stop petting it. Drop it and stop it. Now, he does bark a lot, and remember, giving him attention is going to cause him to do more of that. I think right now he's overly tired and cranky, and that's why he's doing this. So when you have guests come over, try to have him get some breaks, but try to arrange to have guests come over that can kind of go out for a little bit of a mini walk. So for you guys, remember, when your guests come over tomorrow, exercise them first, meet them outside and go for a little bit of a walk. You live in a beautiful area. Have they ever been here before? Mm-hmm. Okay, so they probably would enjoy walking around the area. They live in the water probably too, but it's just a nice way to get him outside and let him get some energy out. Have some treats and have them ask him to sit every couple of steps on the walk. Sit, and then just walk a couple more steps. I mean, when he does sit, then they're saying, sit, yes, and give a treat, then they're walking. So on the walk, he's practicing listening to your guests and being rewarded for listening to your guests. After a while, he'll be more likely to do it. Last thing is try to incorporate some rules. And so sit before I start preparing your food. Sit before I invite you on the couch. Sit before I put the harness on you. Sit before I open the door. Sit before we cross the street. The more you offer and ask him to sit, it helps him practice that. And after a while, that becomes normal and a habit for him. I know you're tired. Well, this is my buddy Dewey Decimal, and this is Dewey's Roadmap to Success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.